welcome to the debate. I'm your host Sana Makbul with you at PTV WORLD. In today's show, we're going to be taking a look at Pakistan's fight against terrorism. And this is, of course, something that Pakistan has been putting out in the world for quite some time. But what is important, of course, to understand is the elements that exist within the region who are spoiling the current state of affairs, in particular reference to India. And we know that state-sponsored terrorism is a policy of India against Pakistan, as has been said by the DG ISPR earlier as well, with reference to the way that we have seen this happen, not just most recently, but also in terms of provinces of Balochistan in particular and other elements and links to terror financing, and then the nexus with terrorist groups in Afghanistan as well. It is important to understand that Pakistan is saying all of these things with credible evidence, and we have put that out in the world, and this is something that Pakistan has been tackling with for quite some time now. How is the world going to respond to this evidence and this fact-based move that Pakistan is putting forward in front of the world to understand and react remains to be seen. And in what ways can we expect any real cooperation on counterterrorism measures is also still a question mark. But this is a fight that Pakistan has been fighting for quite some time, and of course its armed forces personnel are fully prepared to thwart any untoward incident or aggression coming in from India, and also sponsored elements from India. But this is something that has to be taken with a more serious outlook by the international community as well, in terms of the way that this is a very important player in the region, behaving in a rogue way, behaving against international norms and traditions, and outrightly supporting terrorist activities against another country. What can possibly be done, and who's really going to influence India for that, is a question that we will try and ponder over in the discussion today. For this and more, as always, in the studios, I've been joined by senior analyst Faisal. We've also been joined online by Major General retired Zahid Mahmood Saab. Thank you very much for joining us and being a part of the discussion. And General Saab, I'm going to start with you with reference to how this discussion is moving forward. It's important to understand the key elements that Pakistan is making sure that the world understands. And Faisal, let me take your take first before General Saab joins us. When we say that we have evidence, we've put that forward and those cards out in the international community, and it is no longer of any doubt that India is sponsoring these elements, and of course that's coming directly from the state. So I want your take in terms of when Pakistan is playing these cards and putting it in front of the table of the international audience, what is it that we want, and who is it that we really can expect a reaction from?
Well, what we want obviously is that India should be considered as a country that is behind the terrorism, and it is exporting terrorism. And I think by now everyone has understood this in shape of India sending terrorism to the Western world as well. In case if someone wants a proof, then of course there is the episode of Nijjar Singh, and then there is an episode of Punnu Singh as well. Both of their cases, they are in front of the whole world to watch how RAW has been involved in of course fixing them. And when it comes to Khalistan movement, when it comes to Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, everyone knows how they have been involved in financing terrorism. And at the same time, when we talk about Pakistan, it is a clear indication we see in it when we see people like Ajit Doval, who happens to be NSA of India, while addressing to a university, he openly brags about it, that Pakistan should be dealt like this. Pakistan is being dealt like this. A defensive offense, which the doctrine he always boasts about, it is all about how they will be financing terrorism to engage Pakistan on the Western front, and they have been doing it ever since. And if we talk about BLA, BLF, we know that somebody called Kulbhushan Jadhav was caught red-handed in Balochistan, and that too is an evidence Pakistan is having in hand. And if we talk about TTP and ISKP, of course they are being funded by Indians with the help of old NDS of Afghanistan, the previous Afghanistan regime. And if we overall talk about whether Pakistan has been indicating to the rest of the world or not, dossiers of it, after dossiers Pakistan has been providing the West with and the Western countries with, and overall, of course, there was a positive response about it. But India kept on evading just because of one reason: they had the leverage before. Now, one by one, their leverage is being squeezed by the Western countries by themselves. And now, when Pakistan is having the upper hand in terms that India staged this false flag attack once more in Pahalgam, and right after that, they started blaming Pakistan for it, and Pakistan clearly said that Pakistan is always ready to be part of any investigation if it is going to be conducted by India in Pahalgam attack. But of course, India had different designs. India wanted to test Pakistan, and it tested and badly failed against Pakistan. And since then, of course, Pakistan is having geopolitical leverage over India, and now is the time that Pakistan has to cash in that. When we talk about forums like FATF, we need to take this case direct to FATF, and of course we need to get India fixed from there, because India is involved in terror financing, India is involved in facilitation of the terrorism, and if it's not only Pakistan they are involved in, of course they are, when we talk about outfits like TTP and ISKP, it has been highlighted again and again by Pakistan that it is the terror breeding ground, where of course if India is investing in it, ultimately India is becoming a country that is investing in organizations that can harm the whole world. Forget about Pakistan, the whole world I'm talking about.
Right.
So in this whole context, of course FATF is the right forum, and we need to take this case to FATF, and we must ensure that India is blacklisted from there.
Absolutely, and I'll talk more about the FATF as well, but let us welcome in the debate Major General Zaid Mahmood Saab, who's joined us online. Thank you very much, General Saab, for being a part of the discussion. And before I move on to bodies or institutions like the FATF, I want your perspective on the given situation, the fact that we know for sure and that we've put forward with evidence to the international community the kind of links that India has with terror networks and of course terrorist activities within Pakistan. While at the same time, of course, we've seen baseless allegations against Pakistan for terror activities, which are then used as a foundation or a ground to then attack the country. And so when we talk about such elements, these are, of course, in complete violation of international norms and traditions. However, we've seen that the world is working on different measures and different forces that govern what countries do and, of course, who they engage with. And so what leverage does Pakistan has to put this evidence forward, and where is it that we can really expect a response from? Is it the US, in which we've seen a lot of discussion move forward with our senior military leadership of the Army and the Air Force, or is it countries like China within the region that can offer such counterterrorism support? What, in your opinion, will be the way forward for such cooperation for Pakistan?
Thank you, Sana. Thank you for the invite, Sana. And I think Pakistan is facing this challenge. Uh, of course, there's a lack of understanding as far as the international community is concerned, because unfortunately, the real politics is little, cruel in a way that until unless it starts harming you, you don't pay attention to others' problems. So that is what is happening with Pakistan. But now I think Pakistan needs to, not only at bilateral levels, but also at the multilateral forums, as well as the different security organizations, especially in the regional organizations. I'm talking and hinting towards talking about the rats in SCO. Because whatever is being done by India, there are many countries in the world now which are facing this, this Indian application of using these proxies and using this terrorism as the lead instrument of their policies. Countries like Canada, even there are some incidents in UK, in United States of America, the Sikh community is the target. And already Rajasthan was talking about the terror financing. I'll just like to quote an example that there's a case in the United States. They have implicated the government of India being the lead sponsor of terrorism, which was terrorist acts and terrorism, which has been found in the United States of America. I am referring towards the plot for murder of Gurvanth Singh. There was a guy with the name of Dickel who was arrested from Czech Republic. He was brought to, United States of America. Now he has been extradited to, India even. He's already back in India. He was giving around $100,000 to those killers, whom he paid around $15,000 initially. It was the initial payment, and he was being handled by a person named Yadav, if I'm not, yes, Yadav. He was a deputy commandant of the police reserve police of India. So this is kind of evidence which are already in the courts of United States, and they have implicated these the raw and government officials who were really sponsoring and leading this plot. So there are many other examples, not only concerning Pakistan, within Pakistan, but also their transnational application is also vulnerable, and we must take this
I understand the General Sir, but I want your take on when we talk about these individuals, and I understand that government officers are also involved in this, but these are just perhaps can also be examples that are shown or given. How much of an impact does that really have on the state-to-state relationship between the US and India? Has that changed over the years?
I don't think so. That as I told you, that these were the individuals who were involved in the terrorist acts or plot for murder of Gurprat Singh in United States of America. You know, he was a citizen of US also. He's a, as for just like Najar Singh, who was a Canadian citizen. So they should have protected. They should have kept these people with them. But the real politics is very different. That's why I'm saying this international application is very cruel. It depends upon how much you need to use such incidents or such cases, you know, for your own arm twisting. And once it is happening with some other country, how lenient you are. So this is unfortunately, these are the realities. But anyways, I think Pakistan must continuously identifying such incidents, such people, and their involvement in Pakistan with a lot of proof. I'm sure we have now countries which have the understanding, and there is at a larger scale, there is an understanding. Already there is an understanding that whatever hue and cry India is making, this is all charade. They want to, use this smoke screen of terrorism, and they want to screen whatever they are doing against the Kashmiris and the minorities inside India, and especially the Muslims inside India, and they want to co-equate this legitimate freedom movement of Kashmir with terrorism. So they're using it. That's why no country in the world, other than probably a statement came from Afghanistan and from their brother Israel. Other than that, no international organization or a country has, recognized, or they stood with India. Yes, everybody condemned whatever happened in Pahalgam, and even Pakistan has condemned whatever has happened. But that has been done by their own government. That has been done. This cruel act has been undertaken against the people of India by their own government. But Pakistan will have to adopt a strategy where all these incidents with proofs has to be, have to be shared with the international community, and we have their, representatives in our own countries, the High Commissioner, ambassadors. They should be called. Probably there should be a complete mechanism of calling them and giving them and sharing these evidences. Of course, they'll mention it to their countries. Even in the diplomatic process, the biggest problem, Sana, is that the process which starts today, that will take at least 2 to 3 years to mature. So this has to be a continuous activity with the evolving state. It can't happen that today you submit a dossier and without confirmation or without checking by that country, they'll start believing it. But at least we should put things in the process. Whatever you will put in the process today might bring you results 2 3 years down the line.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes, Mas.
Sanab, General Saab, when we talk about scenario post May 2025 scenario, in this scenario, can we say that Pakistan has achieved that geopolitical and geostrategic importance that Pakistan can play its cards very wisely, and Pakistan will be heard now?
Yes, of course, Pakistan is being heard. Pakistan is being heard because Pakistani narrative based on the truth. That is the biggest, advantage what Pakistan has at the moment. Pakistan have at the moment. But I tell you, Raisab, it depends upon the countries and their bilateral approach towards India and Pakistan. Of course, that does matter. But anyways, I think at the moment Pakistan has a relevance. This charade role of being the so-called net security provider Indo-Pacific, that has already been understood by the world that this was all lie. This was a charade. This is more cinematic in approach rather than rather than a reality on ground. So they're being undermined. That's why they're not getting response even from the forums like BRICS, Quad. Quad used to be very effective forum for, and India used to be India is an important member in that. Even in BRICS, India always try to champion the big role which they think they have in BRICS. Also, they have not got any attention even from these forums. And SCO now is seriously considering that India is the biggest scuttler of the against this the achievement of the objectives of the SCO. They are the biggest scuttler to achieve the objectives. So they're viewing their role also, and they are very much clear. I myself has personally attended few meetings of the RATS, which is anti-terrorism body of this SCO, and I always found the Indian members and the Indian representation creating problems in the common agendas, and most of the time they would stay out of the signing of that agenda with the purpose, because they want to show to Washington and all that we are here to guard your interest, even being part of these organizations. But their negative role, this today India is a confused, strategically confused nation and a state. They are being considered like that, and they have already at the lowest ebb of their diplomatic excellence, which they used to claim that they were very good in that. But probably Pakistan, this window is very short. This time window is very, very short. Pakistan must take full advantage of this, and we must focus on this, whatever we are saying. And today's interview of Director General ISPR to Al Jazeera is a clear evidence that Pakistan is now working on these things. These are the indicators which we are getting from the government side, and probably we are on the right path.
Right. Faisal, I want your take on this as well when we speak about the way that Pakistan, of course, needs to defend its homeland and speak about such regional cooperations as well. How do we then tackle the nexus that we've seen previously also develop between India and the Afghan Taliban regime? And we see that because of a lot of these activities spreading as well, we have a two-front threat as well coming in from within Afghanistan. Of course, the elements exist there anyway with safe havens being provided, but there are links that are there that are being sponsored by India.
Yes, Anna, I'm glad that you have highlighted this aspect as well. If we talk about Afghan regime, I mean, not overall the whole Afghan Taliban regime. I am just going to refer about a few of the ranks within Afghan Taliban. They're still associating themselves with TTP, and of course they are hand in glove with them, and they are creating a sort of support for them. Whoever wants to support them from the Indian side, it becomes easier for India to finance and facilitate TTP, finance and facilitate ISKP as well. So in a way, indirectly, Afghan Taliban, the ranks of Afghan Taliban, they are supporting India against Pakistan on our western front, and that needs to be looked into, not only by Pakistan and the rest of the world, but of course Afghan Taliban as well, because they were the ones who actually pledged in Doha Accord that they will never allow their land to be used against any country, including Pakistan. But overall, Sana, if we look at the mantra which we have been seeing coming from our eastern neighbor, of course, they have been always saying that we will engage Pakistan on the western front, we will engage Pakistan in its internal problems, including CPEC as well. The kind of attacks which were conducted on CPEC, in a way they were trying to show to China and Pakistan at the same time that we, while sitting at home, we can do a lot with your stakes and with your interests. Today, yesterday I went through a news which said that Indian Air Force would be conducting an exercise, a war exercise, and today I encountered a news in which it was shown that Jaguar, Indian Jaguar, is the third since March that it crashed, and two of their pilots, they lost their lives. This is the level of their war preparedness when it comes to face Pakistan in the war. Of course, they are not capable enough for it. Yes, they are using their money to engage Pakistan on the western front, to engage Pakistan, to keep Pakistan busy on the western front. And they have been using ever since Modi took the premier office, and someone called Ajit Doval, He has been chairing the National Security Advisory in India. And this is the only solution they have come up with against Pakistan, because when it comes to war, they can't do anything against Pakistan. World has seen in May 2025. And now they will keep on investing more in on our western border. Somehow Pakistan is containing that. Pakistan's armed forces and intelligence services, they are working day and night to make Pakistan more safer. I mean, very recently, last whole week, I have been to Balochistan, and I have gone deep inside the heart of the Balochistan, places like Khuzdar, then places like Mastung, and all of these places I have been to. I have met with the locals there, I have met with the forces there. Everyone is so upbeat after May 2025. Even locals, whoever I was meeting, they were hugging me and they were saying that how happy they were after May 2025. The reason behind it is even they know that India is facilitating and financing terrorism in Balochistan, and they're sick and tired of it. And I think when we are going to present our case on the larger level this time around, we should include the locals as well. We should include the people who have lost their loved ones to these beasts of Majid Brigade and BLA, and these organizations are widely known and declared as the terror organizations. And the people who have been suffering at their hands, the locals I'm talking about, even they should be included in the delegations that go to present our dossiers at the world forums. And I think that's the best way to go around.
Absolutely. General Sab, I want your take on that in terms of when we speak about the international opinion and how much of that matters, because we've seen other issues which are very, very important and integral, also, of course, not being given the same kind of limelight, even though we have a lot of people talking about it, such as the genocide in Gaza or other issues, for example. And so I want your take on how much of the people's voice or the international opinion on this matters, and what really is the take when we have the international audience taking a look at the situation in India and Pakistan. Is the Indian propaganda working? Is that forming international opinion? Is Pakistan's narrative being pushed forward right enough for the international audience to understand that we're talking with facts?
Sana, yes, I think Pakistani narrative is being it is viewed with concern now. Initially, it was not the case like this. You know, there was a lot of Indian stuff, then the Indians diaspora, Indian papers, Indian magazine, then their fake news. You know that the famous disinfo lab. You know, they were working a lot, so they already had polluted the international mind. You know, international opinion about Pakistan and terrorism, and of course there were few incidents like capture of Osama. They always go and quote one incident, Osama bin Laden, that he was found in Pakistan. Yes, that was intelligence failure. Intelligence failure happens even in United States of America. What is 9/11? This is the biggest intelligence failure. Look at the international withdrawal, NATO withdrawal from Afghanistan. This is the joke of the century, that the NATO troops are withdrawing from Afghanistan and they're leaving $7 billion worth weapons and ammunition inside Afghanistan. I have been in military all the time. We have been taught whenever we are compelled to withdraw from a location, if we can't take out our weapons and equipment, we destroy them. We don't leave it into the hands of the enemy. So they'll be killing us back, you know. So these are not simple phenomena. But today, Pakistani, the information which I have, I met few dignitaries who were with the Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, who were going to different countries. I think there were only probably one or two places, one or two think tanks, probably they asked them about the Osama bin Laden and at that old mantra. Otherwise, 98%, more than 90%, there was acceptance of what Pakistanis were telling them, Pakistanis' narrative. Why? Because Pakistanis' narrative is based on the truth. So now that the truth has its own strength, you know, it is very easy to sell the truth. So Indian narrative was, you know, all based on the false allegations and charade and lies, full of lies. Last night I was following Sashi Tahoor. I was trying to find his old videos, 10, 15 years back, 4, 5 years old videos even. till that time, he was the biggest critique of Bharatiya Janata Party. He was saying that this party is detrimental to the secular face of India. And now he was representing them because the deep state is so effective and impactful that even the same voices in India are being coerced and, under coercion and under kind of a lot of pressures. So that's why I'm saying that Pakistani narrative is being accepted, but still, whatever we will put in the diplomatic processes, this will bear fruit maybe 2-3 years down the line. So continuously, because this is going to be a protracted conflict, we have to face the challenges. We have to face the minds like Dovell's and Modi. Dovell is like, his strategy is defensive offensive, which Raja Faisal Saab was also referring earlier, that his strategy is to bleed Pakistan for a longer and a protracted period. Modi with the same mindset, but his belief is more in kinetic and immediate kinetic application. That's why he takes the conflict to the another level, to the conventional and then to the missile levels. That is a serious, that is at a very serious levels of escalation ladder. But unfortunately, we have a neighbor who will be facing them for a very, very long time. This mindset is going to stay there. So as a nation, we need to prepare ourselves. As far as the military response is concerned, I'm pretty confident that Pakistan will match them rather 2 notch up at the escalation ladders. It is quid pro quo. It is going to be quid pro quo plus. But as a nation, this is a big question: that are we ready to undermine this Hindutva mindset, to undermine their objectives, to protect our national vital interest, which we have declared. And as a nation, we will have to get into the gear and get into the position where India should think 100 times before taking even a tactical action against Pakistan.
Right, and I'm glad you talked about the military aspect as well, General Sir, because I want your take on that, on how, if anything, has changed post the recent India-Pakistan conflict, particularly in terms of defense cooperation measures. And of course, a lot of what Pakistan or how Pakistan responded is being cited, and of course the way our Pakistan Air Force, and then of course a very comprehensive hybrid strategy was employed with the Navy, with the Army all together in terms of the kind of response that Pakistan had. Does that open doors for Pakistan for defense cooperation on increased levels, particularly when we talk about our counterterrorism efforts?
Yes, of course, there's a larger understanding, and you can understand, and it is very clear. The indications are very clear. Pakistan is present in the White House. Why? Because of your defensive maneuvers, which made you more meaningful country. I always used to say that Pakistan is a significant country. It's not an ordinary country. We need to understand our own strengths. That's why you were in the White House. Today, the the defense minister of Turkey and the foreign ministers are already here. Chinese are already here. The military chiefs are coming. So they're not on a picnic. They're coming here to collaborate, learn, cooperate, and this is what the strategic partnership is called. Probably Pakistan can very easily create a lot of coalition, and we can have very good coordination and coalition as far as the terrorism, because this terrorism, this use of proxies will stay as the lead instrument of policy of India. And the Indian leadership has very clearly indicated about their enemies. They are already talking about Pakistan. They're already talking about China. They're already talking about Turkey. They're already talking about Bangladesh. They're already talking about Azerbaijan. So their regional, policies have already miserably failed. So now this elephant is in the room. This will try to destroy the whole stability of this region. So I think we need to have converge. We already have a lot of points of convergence. We must take advantage of this environment. And this is not against India. This is to protect ourselves, and this is for the stability of the region. These alliances, these strategic partnerships are not there, do not have some offensive design against any country in the world, including India. But we need to cooperate to protect ourselves, because this deep thought, this saffronized thinking is extremely dangerous. These political terrorists who can kill their own 26 people in Pahalgam, who can, kill, for whom the cow is more important than the human life. Whatever they've done in Gujarat, whatever they've done in, Amritsar during Operation Blue Star, whatever they've done in Babri Masjid case, so this is their mindset. They are cruel people. They're not even allowing people to offer prayers inside India. They hate. So this hate will bring misery for the world. So to protect from that, we need to create alliances. We have lot many points of convergence. I think we must take advantage of that. And Pakistan is being considered as a major reason of stability, major actor for the stabilizing this region. And people are that's why connecting with us. Secondly, geoeconomics. Chinese, Russians, they have invested so much in this region. Without Pakistan, they can't achieve stability in Pak-Afghanistan region. And if India is there inside Afghanistan, they will keep hindering and keep spoiling and keep scuttling whatever economic efforts of these countries. So it is the need of the geopolitics, it is the need of the geoeconomics for the betterment of this region. That's why Pakistan is a key country and everybody wants to cooperate and collaborate with Pakistan.
Sure. Thank you very much, Major General Zaid Mahmood, for joining us and being a part of the discussion. And of course, that's what the hope is, Faisal. But I want your perspective on this too, because when we talk about Pakistan and the influence or potential it has, have we come to a point where none of this, in terms of the evidence that we have against India, can be ignored?
No, not at all. I believe we are sitting somewhere where wants to listen to us. That's why we saw that Field Marshal Sayyid Asim Munir, he was invited for a luncheon at the Oval Office, and not Modi at all. And when we talk about whether it was exclusively for South Asia, Indo-Pak, no, it wasn't. They wanted to know what we think about the Middle Eastern crisis as well. They believe that Pakistan has a standing, a geopolitical standing that matters for the regional peace, and that's why they take us seriously. And this is the time. That's why earlier I was saying that Pakistan has gained that kind of momentum that can, of course, help Pakistan to garner its support in the Western countries as well. And overall, the countries, they believe in Pakistan more than they ever believed in India. And the kind of service Indian media has given to India during this war of May 2025, I think it was a blessing in disguise. Now, wherever Indian media is being presented, the world simply ignores it. Reason being, they simply say that it's from India and we know what it would all be about. And fake news is being labeled to India and fake narratives are being labeled to Indian government. Whereas when it comes to Pakistan, Pakistan has a very serious standing and world is taking us very seriously.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Faisal, for joining us and being a part of the discussion today. That's all that we have from the debate, but we'll, of course, continue our discussion on what's going on within Pakistan and the world tomorrow. Stay tuned to PTV World.